So let's have a look at some of the sets, see how they work. This is a set they call the Ultimate Race Off. That's a Cars 2 set with our friends Lightning McQueen and Francesco Bernoulli. The set has quite a lot of track. The lap length is 6.1 metres and the dimensions are 217 centimetres by 83 centimetres. So on our website, when we give the width and length to each set, we're talking about the amount of space it takes up laid out on the floor. But the lap length is how far the lap is around. Now this set comes with a loop-to-loop. It's the main feature of the track, and it has the lap counter. It also has a bit of scenery in it as well. Now what's this one here? This is the Silver Racers. Silver Racers has the same two cars, although they have a chrome finish. Now this also has a loop-to-loop, and it has a squeeze section. A squeeze section is where the rails come along straight and then they come closer and go back out again. So in a squeeze section, the two cars can't go through at exactly the same time. One has to go in front of the other. So as you're racing, if you're a little bit behind, you've got to really back off a wee bit, otherwise you're going to crash. So you've got to, whoever gets there first, you're going to have to let them through. So that makes for some exciting racing. It also has a crossover. So at a crossover, again, like the squeeze section, two cars can't go through at the same time. It's not an elevated crossover like in the previous set where one track goes underneath the other. Here they go through each other, so someone has to give way. So this is an exciting feature that makes the racing quite a lot of fun, but you have to be aware that the cars will take more knocks. Now while they're pretty durable, and our cars, and here's our two here that have been raced flat out and they're still in really good condition. A little bit of a paint scratch on Francesco's nose, but they're basically excellent. When you have these sorts of exciting track pieces where the cars will crash into each other, you have to expect that, you know, eventually you might break something. Usually you can fix it, bit of glue. Sometimes you might need to buy a new car, but you can do that too. Now this is the Silver Speeders. The Silver Speeders has no loop-to-loop, but it has a crossover and it has a high bank turn. Now actually I forgot to mention, the previous set has a high bank turn as well. The high bank turn is where the corner comes and raises up. So with a high bank turn, like the loop-to-loop, you have to go through it with some speed, otherwise you're going to fall off. So loop-to-loop you need to go flat out. High bank turn, not flat out, but you'll need to carry some speed through it. So it's just one of those bits of track that takes a little bit of getting used to, and it makes adds for extra challenge. With kids that are a little bit older, maybe 7 or 8 years old, they learn those things pretty well and they appreciate the challenge. If you had younger kids, I'd probably avoid things like the high bank turn and maybe even the loop-to-loop, but they do get used to it. Our 3-year-old boy, he's got used to the loop-to-loop now, drives it no worries at all. Next set we're looking at is the Rally Chase set. This comes with two rally cars. There's a little Mini and a Ford Fiesta, and the feature of this track is that it has a rally section which is made of a brown plastic, not the usual black, and the rally section has it has a squeeze section in it, or two squeeze sections, and where those sections squeeze, there's actually raised lumpy track like you'd get in a rally course. So you have to take those a bit slower, and the cars will go over the rally section, and that makes it pretty good fun. That's a set I really like. It's also got the lap counter as well. Now here we've got the Speed Up set. The Speed Up set is a Formula 1 set. It's got Formula 1 cars. They're different liveries, but they're the same car. One of the good things about having a set with the same cars is that they drive in the same way. So if your kids are racing and they're competitive, it's going to be fair. One car is not necessarily going to be faster than the other. With cars like this, where they're quite a different shape, sometimes one will perform quite differently. So we would generally recommend getting sets where the cars are the same kind of car or similar. Now, so it's a standard figure of 8 set. It's just a really good racing set. There's no real features like loop-to-loops or anything like that. It's just about the racing, which is kind of nice, and it has a lap counter so you can record who's done the most laps. Now the Midnight Chase set. This is a pretty big set. It's got lots of cool things. It's got the loop-to-loop. It's got the high bank turn. It's got the lap counter. It's got a squeeze section, and it's got the crossover. So that's a pretty full-on set. That's 5.5 metres lap length. One of the other cool things is that the police car has lights go, so that makes a bit of extra interest for the kids or adults. Next set I've got here is the DTM double power set. Both the cars are very similar, so they'll behave similarly on track. What have we got here? We've got the loop-to-loop, we've got quite a big lap length, we've got the high bank turn. This is I think a really good set. For racing, like the Formula 1 set, it's just a good sort of hard out racing set to compete against each other, but it has the features of the high bank turn and the loop-to-loop. Okay, this one here, this is GT Victory set it's called. Now this one here has got this has got bank turns as well, but they're not just the steep bank that we've seen previously. These are more of a sweeping bank, more like you get on a real racetrack, like in an oval racetrack for instance. This track has a loop-to-loop, and the other thing it has, which we haven't seen yet, is it's got the crossover pieces, not an intersection crossover, but where the two rails come and cross over each other, so the cars effectively swap lanes. There's two of those on the track, and it's also got the lap counter. So like the crossover intersection, both cars can't go through at the same time. Someone has to give way. Now here we go. This is World Champion set. Both Red Bull cars, Sebastian Vettel, Mark Webber. And we've got 5.4 metre lap length, we've got a loop-to-loop in it, we've got high bank turn there, and we've got a lap counter. It's all officially licensed Red Bull product. Like the Ferrari sets and the Porsche sets, it's all officially licensed when it comes to Carrera Go, and they do a really good job of replicating the liveries and making things look the way they should. The last set I've got to show you, this is the Ferrari GT race. This set has loop-to-loops and lap counter, and the cars are Ferrari 458 race cars. They're great looking cars. Because they're the same cars, they're good for even and fair racing. And that one has 5.6 metres lap length. So that's all the sets. If you're considering a Carrera Go set, I hope that's helped you choose and enjoy your slot car racing.